Welcome to ecotopiaumedia. I'm your host, Melissa McGinnis, joined by my co-host, Tom Wright. Who would be wrong when you could be right?
Thank you, Melissa. And who are we with today?
It's a very special day because we have a visitor in the studio today, Stephanie Barger. Stephanie, so great to see you.
Thank you, Melissa. It's great to be here with you and Tom.
Stephanie is the founder and executive director of the U.S. Zero Waste Business Council. Wow. So how did you get involved with or be impressionable as a younger person about waste?
How did Stephanie start?
Well, I have incredible parents, and they really believed in just getting the kids outdoor. I'm from a very large family of 6 children, and my dad was in the Air Force, single income with 6 kids, and my mom was an adventurous. She was almost Olympic skier and outdoors person, and we just spent all of our vacations in the national parks at Yellowstone, Glacier, the Stanislaus National Forest. My grandparents have a cabin, so I've been going there since I was a little kid, and just really appreciating what God's creation is and the beauty of nature and how magnificent it is and how it intertwines with one another and how refreshing it is. You know, it's playful. And even I took my nieces and nephews out and neighbor kids, and they don't need anything else than nature. They just love it. And so that's what I grew up with. And I didn't even realize what a gift that was. I just thought it was how everybody did life. And then the other things that my parents gave to me was volunteerism. They were always very involved in the church and Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and the, homeroom teacher, and my mom did all the field trips and everything. And I just actually thought that was a way of life. There was no community service hours in those days. You just volunteered, and we went to senior homes and all of that. And then in my junior high and high school years, we moved back to California after living all over the U.S., and we had a very large petting zoo. It was 15 acres, and we had everything. We had horses and sheep. This was in Northern California in the foothills of Tahoe in the Auburn area. And my father was stationed at Beale Air Force Base, and luckily he didn't go out to Marysville, but went to the Auburn area. Beautiful, beautiful area. And so they started out with 4.5 acres and then bought another 10 acres. And we just started my mom has lost puppy dog syndrome, so we collected puppy dogs and cats and chickens, and our first horse we got because it got hurt and it was going to go to the glue factory unless my mom bought it. And so we just kind of collected, and we were very involved in 4-H and FFA, Future Farmers of America. And once again, that really gave me the understanding of how to work with nature. And I grew up all organic and farm raised, but I didn't know that was what we were doing. Once again, it was just a way of life. And with 4-H and FFA, you can't use any chemicals, and they want you to use all natural food. You have to exercise your animals, so we'd set up little obstacle courses to keep them all healthy and trim. And my poor dad, I ended up wanting to start my own breed of sheep. And and mainly, I couldn't sell them because they were really good ones, so I had to keep them to breed them and give the little 4-H kids sheep, and I ended up with 30 sheep at one time. So it was a delightful childhood, but really just gave me that great appreciation.
Now, did you shear the sheep for the wool, or?
Other people did, yeah.
So ask if you had any clothing from your sheep.
Yeah, no, but we had freezers full of animal, chickens and beef and pigs, and we, of course, went to the county fairs, which are just amazing places for community. I actually worked on a campaign to help save the Orange County Fairgrounds and that, because they're really a place of community and understanding how we all work together. And that's, really where I come from is the community aspect and working together.
So after you were a sheep herder, did you go on to an educational process, or?
Yeah, I actually, I wanted to be a fashion designer. Well, first of all, I wanted to be a veterinarian. But then I went to my first operation and realized I wasn't into the blood and guts. And then I wanted to be a fashion.
Blood has a
and it's
the same way.
Yeah. So, and then I wanted to be a fashion designer, but my father was a computer programmer at the time, so I actually got into that and bookkeeping and then loan processing, and then decided kind of to follow the fashion aspect. I moved to Hawaii at a very young age, 21, and actually worked for Liberty House, which was the Neiman Marcus of Hawaii, and worked with high-end fashion. So the great thing about that is it taught me how to put on events. And how to do that. And I actually have done several fashion shows for different charities. And then it was time to grow up, so I went back to school and became a CPA, and actually worked for Pete Marwick as a CPA, but really as management consulting. And we go out and work with companies and do training. So that's where I gained a lot of skills in doing employee training and working with companies in designing their systems and everything, which has really paid off in the nonprofit world, and especially working with businesses.
Wow.
So
you've had many trades.
Yeah, jack of all trades.
So what led you to your zero waste initiative?
Well, it really happened because my first nonprofit that I helped start is Earth Resource Foundation, and we're very community-based and working on watershed, and that's how I met many of my dear friends and mentors like Captain Charles Moore and Mr. Tom Wright and Rick Anthony, working on, the pollution and the plastic pollution, how devastating that is, and working with watersheds and trying to do a beach cleanup that's successful. And the problem is you can do a fabulous beach cleanup, and the next day the trash is all there again. And what's really devastating is 80% of that trash is out in the ocean. And we see what it's doing to the animals. And once again, that's where my heart is the environment and what we're doing to these creatures that have no voice. So with the watershed issue and urban runoff, you can't do beach cleanups. That's not going to fix the problem. So you have to go upstream and work with the communities and the high schools and the homeowners and the businesses. And it was really Rico Electronics that set me back on my path for business. And they called me up to help them do a beach cleanup. And I had gone to the Natural Step conference, which was up in Portland, Oregon, all the big companies and what they were doing to reduce their impact on the environment in the triple bottom line. And so I was going to tell them a thing or two about how to run their business green. And I walked in, and of course they have zero waste all over their facility. They had a team of 6 people working on their zero waste program. And so I helped them do a beach cleanup. But they became wonderful mentors to us, and then I basically started working with a lot of these businesses under Earth Resource Foundation, putting on conferences and providing more consulting to businesses that weren't on the path to zero waste. And so with a collaboration of people that I met through that 5-6 years under Earth Resource Foundation, we decided to launch the U.S. Zero Waste Business Council, and specifically working with businesses to provide resources and tools to help them be smarter, more efficient, and save money.
Splendid. How long ago was that?
So we started the U.S. Zero Waste Business Council officially in January of 2012. However, I'd been working on the business plan for about 4 years prior to that, and really looked at other successful organizations like the U.S. Green Building Council. And so we did design a lot of our programs after the U.S. Green Building Council, mainly to add familiarity to our product and services to the businesses that are out there. And it's really resonated. We're just bursting at the seams with our growth, so it's really great.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like your whole childhood really set you in the path of where you are today. So we're thankful for what you're doing out there.
Yeah, well, it's a blessing. I feel very, very blessed to be doing this passionate work and have so much effect. And I love it. I mean, it's just a joy to work with people like Tom and yourself and all these companies, and mainly because companies can have a very quick, huge effect on their community. So having worked in the activism for a long time, it takes a long time for communities and government to change, but a business, if the leadership's on board, 6 months, these policies are in place, they're changing what they're purchasing, what they're eating, what they're disposing of, so it's really powerful.
And I see that a lot of companies want to change, but without the tools, they don't necessarily know how, so you're providing the tool set. So it's great.
Yes, thank you.
Well, stay tuned for more with Stephanie. I think we're going to have you again here in the studio to learn more about the U.S. Zero Waste Business Council. Thank you so much.
Thank you.